No, I'm fine with music. Okay. Music will calm me down. Okay.
PJG22 interview.
My name is Joshua Goode. I'm a photographer as well as educator, husband, and father, which is most important to me.
That's gonna mess up these braids. 2 puffs, but I'm trying to do better, is what I'm trying to do. So.
I got the idea for the show really just looking at what is missing within my culture as a Black man. I think a lot of times we are consistently seen as absent in our children's lives, and me being a dad now is one of like the most rewarding things that I could think of, just because, you know, what stereotypically society may see within a certain group of people, it actually doesn't exist. We are present. And that's how I came around the name, Omnipresent.
Did you see it?
I did.
It's like a monster, but it's a Lego. One more time, watch, look at it.
All of the work that I've been doing obviously has to have that purpose. I just want people to come and show up and, you know, I collect money for myself, or do I want to give back, you know, to the community that I'm talking about and sending a message about. I decided that I would raise these funds, benefit to nonprofits.
My name is Will Lewis, also known as Daddy to my daughter. So I'm the founder of Fathers Are Needed. How I see things is with fatherhood, there's kind of 2 aspects, right? It's how society views fatherhood, and then how us fathers view fatherhood. Some things that we do is like some father-daughter hair classes, some cooking classes that's going to be coming up for them. And then we also just try to give back, you know, to give back to the community. And we're doing toy drives and fatherhood barbecues and just stuff like that.
My name is Jeremy Gibbons. I have a son who is 8 years old by the name of Cohen. And I started a nonprofit called the Black American Dad Foundation. It's a foundation that helps out African American fathers and provides them with different resources to develop themselves, better life for themselves and a better life for their kids. The inspiration for Bad actually wasn't through my son, it was actually for my dad. I was listening to music, and the music in college that I was listening to, there was an artist and he had an album that had just came out. And one of the songs he was saying, boo-hoo, sad story, Black American dad story. And that lyric, you know, gave me a lot of pause. Really like sympathize with somebody that's gone through something like that didn't have the ability to have their father throughout the course of their life for whatever reason. I knew that that wasn't the full story of who Black American dads were, because my dad was a great dad. So the motivation for everything that I was doing was really to kind of give guys like my dad the salute, the nod, the paying respect to, because I know that the work that they've done, and it's exemplified in all the Black men that I see.
I have 2 kids, Omari, who's 5, he's going on 6 this year, and then I have Aria, who's 2. When they leave my household, how do I show up for them in those spaces? Because society's not going to be the ideal situation like we have within the house.
There were definitely some Black kids that didn't have their fathers, but then it was the jokes that came with it from other people that didn't know them, didn't know their situation. Oh, like, oh, your father isn't this, you know, your father's not here, your father, you know, just kids being kids, you know. I remember some kids used to tell me, hey, you're lucky that your dad comes to your games, or you're lucky your dad comes here, your dad comes there.
Having somebody already putting you into a category before you even become a dad, before they even know anything about you, and saying that, you know, you're not there, you're not worth it, you're thinking about yourself, you're selfish, you care about others. That's something that really made me believe like I have to do this for dads, because not only is it a message to the outside world of who we are, but it's a beacon of hope to like keep pushing forward and keep going.
Hey, bud. Because I have this tape. Why are you so worried about it?
My dad was always an inspiration to me, always has been. He's somebody that I look to in terms of like temperament and just who he is as an individual. And so I've always kind of like really took to what he was doing and found a lot of interest. Although he has a different medium, he does do photography, but he's definitely more of a painter. It just really helped to foster that creativity in me though. And I think that's what has always drawn me to the art.
There's one memory that it always comes back and plays in my head every once in a while where I used to play soccer, and we were like the first team in my area to make a certain tournament, and I remember we won our first game. I remember after that first game running to the sidelines to my dad. I remember I jumped in his arms, and he like lifted me up, and I just felt like I was on top of the world type of stuff, you know. I talk with him frequently, even how to be a father to my daughter. He's giving me advice on that, and it's just been amazing. What makes me more passionate about it is the joy that I have with my daughter, you know, and it's like I want other fathers and other kids to feel that passion as well, you know, to feel that joy as well.
One thing that I do remember as a kid was I went to a lot of like museums and art galleries, and my dad had friends that were artists as well. I think that's what is really, really, really cool about my childhood, is that I didn't realize that until I got older, and I'm like, man, that had a lot of like impact on just how I view things and how I view the world.
For every one great story that there's 1,000 other stories that are exemplifying something that happens to a small fraction of people that really anybody can relate to with respect to being, you know, absentee dad. You know, it's not exclusively a black thing. It's, you know, a human thing that happens, and it's not necessarily something that you should be proud of. It's not something that we should shy away from, but there is a tip on the scale, if you will, when it comes to respect to black fathers versus other subgroups that are represented in this country.
Negativity spreads a lot quicker than positivity, and I think that's why there's certain narratives around fatherhood. But being able to shed a light on the positivity, show that there are fathers out there that want to be in their kids' lives, show that there are fathers who are just great fathers just in general. I'm helping a father out right now as he's going through his custody battle. While I was going through court, my lawyer told me a year and a half before the law changed that now has to be proven that the father is an unfit parent. Before, the father had to prove that he was fit enough to be a parent if they went to court. And it actually changed to now where it's, the other party has to prove that the father's unfit if you're going to take custody from them. So fathers that don't know that think that they're going in losing already, because that's just the stigma of how everything is, right? Like everything belongs to the mother. With him knowing that gave him a little bit more hope, a little bit more life. Like, okay, so, you know, I do have a chance, you know, to still have my kids.
My grandfather, Calvin Goode, has been known in the Phoenix communities, especially like the black community in Phoenix, for a very long time. As city councilman, at one point being vice mayor, and just a civil rights activist. I think a lot of people always saw his face, knew that he was about change and about building the community up. I think the way that he made people feel stuck out more than anything else, because there's tons of people that have been in politics, tons of people that have been activists, but I think it's more about how do you make individuals feel, and that is what really shows who you are and really has people inspired. I have a lot of things within the installation of his suit, his shoes, a couple pieces of my own that, you know, reminded me of him, and books that I know have reminded me of him, as well as my grandmother's poetry. As a black man growing up, you know, he grew up in LA. The things that he went through, I didn't know until I was an adult. So as soon as I was born, him and my mom, they moved out into a completely different neighborhood because they didn't want us to grow up in a certain lifestyle. I don't know what my father used to sacrifice when I was a kid, and I'll never know, you know, but that's part of fatherhood.
My dad was the first African-American hotel executive of a major hotel. He was the executive vice president of Excalibur Hotel. He was the manager of Luxor Hotel. As I've gotten older and now understanding he grew up in the 60s and 70s, a far more difficult time for black people in this country than what we have today as regards to like our opportunities, and he was able to do this. As much as he did expose us to the understandings of who we are, he also said, I'm also going to expose you to who you are. Right? And who you are is a great person. Who you are is who you make yourself to be. You have the ability to create the life that you want, but you have to do it. My favorite portrait in the gallery is really centered around a father and a daughter, and just how close and intimate it could be. And I think that cloth really like pulled them closer together as well.
lot of times you don't get to witness that with parental life. You know, it's just like everything's all over the place. So when you take a time and like, I'm just gonna be, and so it really stuck out to me. I didn't see that a lot from the males in my family. A lot of it was vocal, so, you know, most of the time, or they would do things like take a liking to something that I was doing and support that, and like talk to me about it and try to get more out of me and like really be interested in, you know, what I had going on. My dad is somebody like that, and he does that with absolutely anybody. He'll really make you feel like, you know, he cares about what you have going on, and he'll ask questions and really dive. Every time he's with you, he'll dive into it. When we talk about like physical affection, like, or just saying things like I love you, it wasn't unless like something like serious happened, or, you know, maybe somebody passed and, you know, we embrace each other, or things like that, that I would hear it. And that was kind of the reason why, as I moved into this exhibition, was like, I want to make sure that the portraits are intimate and they show like what I want and what I'm trying to give to my son.
Even as a man, you want to be macho. You want to be macho. You want to be the disciplinary one, right? But I've learned that it's okay to be vulnerable with your kids, especially with the girl. I used to try to discipline with my daughter, but at the end of the day, she's still a girl, so she's gonna be a little more emotional to that. And so what I learned was that me being more open and more vulnerable with her made her a lot more comfortable to come talk to me about certain situations.
We don't know how long we have. We don't know what tomorrow brings, and you know, I've lost people that I'm close to. I think a lot about one of my mentors through college. His name was Justin Smith, and he provided exactly that. He always told everybody that, you know, like, hey bro, I love you. Like, I know that I'm looking out for you. Like, what you got going on, he'll call you and let you know. And really having those moments helped me to like really understand what it means to be a friend, what it means to be a man, and to expand myself outside of just like the basic superficial stuff that's going on in the world, like, and how we view men and how we should interact. It's like he upped it, you know, he put it to another level for me to understand, like, we do have to express that love for each other. And the fact that like, I don't think I really understood that until after he passed, it really made me feel, you know, a little less like, I wanted to make sure that I brought that to the table in every interaction that I have now. Message I was trying to send, but I also want to do the work. We see a lot of people talk about things that they want to do, or I get this amount of money, then I'll do it. It's like, no, like, I'm on a teacher salary. I'm not like, you know, somebody that's rolling in dough, but I found a way to use my resources to at least give something and provide to continue to work.
In our society, we look at black fathers, and a lot of people in the media portray us as absent or not in our children's lives. You see it in movies, right? We see it, we hear it in music and all these different things. And my main thing was saying, let's make sure that we change that narrative however we can. And some people look grand scale and think, oh, celebrities can do it or politicians can do it. But I wanted to look from a different perspective, one that's local, that can probably, you know, move and shape other people around the world as well. It states here that out of ticket sales alone, and only ticket sales, we've raised literally almost $4,000.
I want black fathers to wake up every single day and believe that they are just as much of an American as anybody else, and you have access to the same resources that everybody else has, and you will reap the same benefits that everybody else has. All you gotta do is just try.
My dad has been in my life, obviously, since I was born. And he's the one that has instilled This creative ideas and like just being involved in art within me. And that's something that we have always bonded over and shared. He's an artist as well. He paints, he draws, he does everything. And he's really excellent at what he does. And so he exposed me to this world of being creative. And so everything that you see here, yes, I did it, but it really stems from what he has given me. So if we can clap it up for my father.
Badlands. Goodbye, boys, cried John Henry. I'm gonna swing me a hammer on them beautiful new tracks.
I can so.
What is that?
It's a hammer.
It is a hammer. Good job. What does he have in his hand?
A hammer
He
too.
does have a hammer. Do you see any animals in the picture?
I see one right there.
What is that?
A horse.
A horse. You see anything, Maureen?
Huh?
You see anything that stands out to you?
A train and a person looking like it's about to break something right there.
Oh, it does.
It looked like
They're building the tracks though, so the thing's not moving yet. All right, let's continue.